So close you can almost taste it.
What? You just gonna walk away? Time to bring the juice.
Never leave a fit behind. Rip it, and bring the juice.
That flavor's just out of reach.
Drop the Legos and bring the juice. Yee.
Obafemi is declared the future. Randy Orton is back. Liv Morgan is still the women's world champion. We have Nick Aldis on the show. We have Solo Sikoa on the show. X-Pac is our guest co-host. This is the SummerSlam Night 1 recap on WWE Now, a WWE and Fanatics original production. Man, what a night. What a night. We are here. We are in Minneapolis. We are in the bowels of the stadium for night 1 of SummerSlam. The show just ended. Megan Morant could not be here. However, in her place, the equally beautiful and talented X-Pac is here as our guest WWE Now co-host. First of all, man, saw you out there in the crowd enjoying the show. Thank you so much for being here and imparting your wisdom. I'll tell you, like I've interviewed you and talked to you on podcasts, dozens of times it has to be at this point, and I find your insight into wrestling is bar none.
Why, thank you, Sam.
It's really
hey everybody. I've known Sam since he was an intern at the Opie and Anthony show. I think I gave Sam your first big interview.
It was, but it was a very different X-Pac at the time.
Yes,
it wasn't exactly the man that you see in front of you today. But man, I mean, I want to start with where this show ended. When you think about moments, and you know, I mean, I think, you know, it's become a wrestling trope. The moments where the torch is passed.
Sure.
Somebody is putting somebody else over. It is hard to imagine. And I left WrestleMania going, man, they could not have done Brock and Oba better. And somehow tonight, I thought the full circle nature of so much of what we saw in the match, and then Brock coming back into the ring after the match, taking the mic, saying the words out loud, I am the past and this is the future.
That's how it's done.
Yeah, I thought it couldn't have been a bigger moment for Oba.
Yeah, and Brock coming in tonight, his hometown.
Yeah.
I mean, more or less, you know, University of Minnesota, man. And doing that, and man, was he in shape.
Brock?
Both of them, but
Both
yeah.
of them, yes. Yes.
Like, I mean, you know, no offense to Oba because he's a monster, but I think Brock looked better than Oba.
I mean, it was amazing, and the fact that Brock has been doing it.
Yeah.
As long as Brock has been doing it, he can still go at this level. I mean, I loved all the callbacks to Brock's matches with like the Undertaker. I always love tearing that canvas and seeing those wooden boards under the ring.
When he kicked out of that tombstone, I was surprised.
You were?
Yeah, I thought, okay, this is it. Yeah.
That is the thing with Brock. I was talking about that on the radio earlier, that like the thing about Brock is that even if everybody went into this building thinking, well, clearly Oba's got to win, like Brock
didn't think that.
Right. How come?
Because it's Minnesota.
Yeah.
And maybe they could squeeze one more match out of it, you know?
Absolutely.
You never know what they're thinking.
And if anybody is going to be the guy to do that, it's Brock. He's done it. You know, he did it with Undertaker. He did it with Cena. He's done it with a ton of people. You know, did you go in thinking that Brock was going to win, or just thinking there was a possibility?
No. I was waiting to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of those things. I'm not like the guy that does the predictions and.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you kind of go, okay, you know, this is going to happen or whatever.
Right. Yeah, but this was one of those things that could have gone in a lot of different directions. And I mean, I think Oba also, and I mean, you know, from your career, like those opportunities, and I don't mean like the big picture opportunities. I mean the opportunities to make, like we said, those little moments, and the fact that Oba could do that shot put move that we've seen him do to smaller guys.
Yeah,
he shot put Brock Lesnar in that match. It was insane, dude.
My memory serves correct. He did it more than once.
I think he did.
Yeah.
And he took all those. I mean, 3 F5s in a row.
Yeah.
Do you think that it lived up to the Hell in a Cell hype and the stipulation?
Honestly, I don't even think they needed the Hell in a Cell.
Interesting. It could have just been one
A
last
rematch.
war. Yeah. What do you think of it was kind of
They could have gotten everything, the same stuff done,
right.
same emotions, all that. But
Yeah.
Hell in a Cell, extra bonus.
It adds spectacle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you see it coming down,
Yep.
and the flames are shooting up and everything. Yeah. I thought and also there is something to Oba building up to this, saying, Brock, you keep running away, Brock, you keep running away,
Yeah.
Brock, you keep running away, that the Cell adds to. To me, I was surprised by the amount of people who had a problem with Oba choosing the Brock match and throwing away the title match. He won the King of the Ring.
Yeah.
And he gets to fight a champion at SummerSlam the same way EO chose Liv Morgan. And Oba said, I don't want to fight a champion. I want to fight Brock Lesnar. I kind of feel like it was the move that made not only the most sense for the story, but I think ultimately it adds to this legend of Oba Femi, where he's the one guy who didn't take the guaranteed title shot because he knew he was going to be able to get it.
Who is anybody to tell Oba Femi what should be the most important thing to him?
That's right. And
Yeah.
look, what's the match that main evented the show?
Yeah.
It was Oba and Brock. Can you really tell me that there's a title match that would have been bigger for Oba tonight, on this night, for this step in his career? He lost to Brock once. He beat Brock once. I don't think that there's a championship match that would have been bigger for Oba Femi than this.
It'd be too
Hell in a
premature
Cell.
anyways, I think.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree, because you'd almost be in the spot like, all right,
Because
well,
now
where
he's
do
got
you-
to win. He's got to win the title.
right. And then
Maybe
it's
a
like, well,
little too early for that.
yeah. And then it's also like, okay, wait, who's going to beat Oba? Like, who are the challengers lined up? Like, who I think, but it goes back to kind of a lot of times fans. Well, I think it's not just wrestling fans; it's all kinds of fans. They want what they want right away. They want it now, and I mean, I get it.
I get it too, man.
I
do, and I think it's good to give the fans what they want, like a majority of the time. But sometimes, when they don't get what they want right away, and then they finally get it, it's even sweeter.
It is. And
know?
I feel like this was one of those nights. Like, I don't think by the end of it, when Oba Brock went in and declared Oba the future of the WWE. I think in that moment, everybody kind of collectively goes like, that's what needed to happen.
And people can be told, hey, we want you to get on the mic and say something, and pass the torch thing or whatever. And people could do that, but the way Brock did it and just the sincerity.
Yes. Yes. No part of it, and who knows? I was watching on the floor, so I'm not backstage, but no part of it felt like, oh, and this is the scripted part where it felt like Brock decided in that moment, this is what I want to do. And even Oba's reaction to it, not 100% sure, you're coming in here to attack me, shake my hand, give me a hug. He didn't quite know how to react to
And
it.
I don't care what anybody says. People can say, they write this or write that, but I don't think anybody's going to tell Brock Lesnar that he's got to say this guy's the future if Brock Lesnar doesn't believe that.
I agree with that. And Triple H was on WWE radio this week talking about how Brock does think that Oba's special and that Brock does see something in him. And I think that Oba...
I think if he didn't, he would have maybe just balked on the match.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Brock's the type of guy that could do that.
Sure.
Brock could say, nah. And Brock could come back, beat him at Clash, and then go no, I'm done. I beat him. I'm not going to come back and do another match for Oba. I think that, and the fact that it was in Minnesota and it was in the Cell, so it became that is the one thing the Cell does besides add intrigue or whatever into the match. It adds interest into the match. It makes it so if you go to a show and there's a Hell in a Cell match on the show. If you're a casual fan, if you're going to watch one match on the show, I don't care who's in there. You're watching the Hell in a Cell match. The whole night, you're sitting there looking at this giant cage that's hanging above the ring going, boy, I can't wait till they bring that down.
You know something, Sam? I'm just glad that this Hell in a Cell didn't end in a DQ.
I've heard you don't like those. I've heard
I was just talking to Seth earlier.
I was thinking
I
that
thought about bringing it up to him, but
there was a part of me. There was a part of me going, the fact that X-Pac is co-hosting today.
Yeah, they
God,
finally
do
brought
I
me
hope
back.
This I really hope it ends in a DQ.
Yeah.
They might not invite me back, but how about this one though? How about this one? The WWE Championship match.
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes and CM Punk. And I felt like this was one of those that. Well, before we get to Cody Rhodes and CM Punk, I want to talk to you about our pals at Minute Maid. You know, for the last few weeks on Raw Recap, we celebrate these juice breaks that people take every day. You know, in their lives. We've talked about the trade-offs, the sleep you give up, the social awkwardness you endure, and the grind you push through just to get those small little victories. We can all understand that. Like, look at Cody Rhodes, for example. Cody Rhodes. You know, I think he tried to do it the right way, and look what happened. Sometimes you got to go with those little victories. Sometimes you got to be CM Punk, who sees Cody Rhodes on the ground, rolls over, gets the pin. CM Punk gets to walk out WWE champion, no matter how he did it. We celebrate those choices here on WWE now, and we celebrate them with Minute Maid. We celebrate the trade-off. Maybe CM Punk and Cody Rhodes aren't the best of friends anymore, but he's got the title. Okay? He didn't tap out. He didn't give up. He got that boost of positivity when he looked at the championship. That's what we do with Minute Maid. When life tries to put you in a submission, you don't tap out. You never tap out on taste. You know what you do instead?
What?
Bring the juice.
Bring the juice.
You bring the juice. Of
Depends
course
on
you
what
bring
kind
the
of juice we're talking about here.
Well, in this case, it's Minute Maid. Yeah, you're right. Who knows what kind of juice? Could be fruit punch.
Yeah.
Could be blue raspberry. We don't know what kind of juice, but it's all so delicious. Now,
That was very good, by the way, Sam.
thank you very much. It's just on top of my head. You know, it's just what I was thinking. So I was also, you know, I brought up CM Punk because I think a lot of people were paying attention to this story. And I think that there's quite a few people that, and this has popped up multiple times. I feel like lately, every time there's a big stadium main event match for Cody Rhodes, there's this like bubbling under the surface of fans that go like, oh, he's going to turn, he's going to turn, he's going to turn. And he doesn't turn. Cody never turns.
Never.
But he comes from an honest place. There was a tension and a hostility. And I like the idea that Cody doesn't really appreciate the fact that people are coming up to him going, you know, Damian Priest going up to him and saying, you know, the boys in the locker room are tired of the same four people in the main event. And I'm watching that, and if I'm Cody Rhodes, I'm going like, well, then
do something about it.
Yeah, come be Cody Rhodes then. Be Cody. That's how I got here. I
Up
was
your
Cody.
game.
Yeah. And CM Punk
Get
said
a little
the same
bit more
thing.
cutthroat behind the scenes.
If you have to do it, you have to do
Yeah.
it. Bring the juice, is what they say. CM Punk said the same thing. He was like, look, then do it. You know, and I think with both, what's interesting about Cody and Punk is that these are two guys that are, you know, they main event a lot. They're at the top of the card. But the truth is, no one put them there. And at different points in their careers, it was made pretty clear to them, you're never going to be the top guy, right?
We just don't see that in you.
Right.
And they had to go somewhere else.
They had to go somewhere else. They had to
say,
create
"See?"
it on their own,
Yeah.
prove their worth.
That's right.
And then the Brinks truck got backed up, and they came back in, and now they're where they're at.
That's right.
And I think that's I mean, it should be a valuable lesson to a lot of people. What I thought was interesting about this match, though, is that they go in, especially CM Punk saying we're friends.
Yeah.
You know, tonight we won't be friends, but we're friends. We get to this point in the match where it looks like Cody's got that advantage. Goes for the Cody cutter. I don't know how this Charles Robinson always ends up in the wrong spot. But Charles Robinson, I mean,
I
Charles,
was like, oh my God.
this is since you're on Nitro, Charles Robinson has been finding himself
Yeah.
in the wrong spot. And here we are in 2026. He did it again. He's out cold for the first time since WrestleMania. Randy Orton shows up. RKO to Cody Rhodes. Clearly bygones are not bygones with Cody and Randy. But what I thought was so interesting was CM Punk just kind of saw it and said, let me take this pin. 1, 2, 3.
It would have been foolish not to.
Just go for it.
Yes.
Do you think that CM Punk can still go on SmackDown on Friday and go, yeah, we could be friends again?
Sure.
You think he can?
Why not?
I mean, if I'm Cody Rhodes, I go, you could have at least, Cody has been.
Well, I mean, Punk could think that, but maybe Cody has a different
opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that's true. Yeah. Punk's opinion would be one side of the situation. I was super surprised to see. I was super surprised to see Randy Orton back, because in this instance, it was like I thought the story was all Cody and Punk.
Yeah.
And then I thought that if we move on from Cody and Punk, Sami Zayn is there waiting, Finn Balor is there waiting, Gunther is there waiting. Like, you got all these guys, and now Randy Orton is back in the mix. It really is.
I thought that was a nice. I was fine with that finish.
Yeah.
It was nice. It was a nice surprise.
Yep.
And I like the wink.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And Randy feeling good about himself. Yep. Yep. And I also think, it's going to be interesting for Cody, because Cody can say he feels cheated. So the first title match he was supposed to get with Sammy, Gunther smashed his head into a car. That's where Punk steps in and gets the title match. Now they go, okay, Cody, you can have the match with Punk. Now Randy Orton steps in and stops it from happening. Cody can justifiably say, hey, I keep getting cheated out of these title matches. I should get another title match. But we've already set up this idea that people already think that he gets too many title matches. Yeah. So how does he step forward? Even though he's justified, at the same token, he's the guy who gets too many opportunities, according to a lot of people.
Yeah, let's see what happens with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to get. I think it'll get interesting for Cody. I'm excited to see where it goes with Cody, because I think with Punk, even if Cody says, "Hey, Punk, I want a match with you next," there's a number one contenders match tomorrow.
Yeah,
Sami Zayn and Finn Balor is tomorrow, number one contenders. Although, can you imagine how livid Sami Zayn's going to be if Sami Zayn beats Finn Balor? And then Nick Aldis, who, by the way, I don't know if you guys saw, got reinstated. Triple H reinstated Nick Aldis as general manager on the post show.
All right.
Yeah, so he's reinstated now. So if Nick Aldis goes, yeah, Cody did get screwed, you can have another title match. If Sami Zayn's sitting there, let's say he wins, he beats Finn Balor tomorrow, the number one contender doesn't get the next shot, he's now going to be justified in slapping water bottles all over the
Sammy's used to getting the short end of the stick.
You think he'll be all right?
Yeah.
He's used to it. I guess that's just Sammy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's I'm interested to see where it all goes. By the way, for everybody that's been, cheering on their favorite superstars and everything, whether you've been cheering since the Attitude Era, which you know something about, or you're all in on today's biggest superstars, you're counting down to SummerSlam Pro Sphere night 2, obviously. If you're counting down to SummerSlam night 1, guess what? You got to get a new clock. But if you're counting down to SummerSlam night 2, Pro Sphere has the gear to help you represent the WWE Universal style. You know what's great about Pro Sphere? You know what I got from Pro Sphere?
What?
The D-Generation X 69 jersey.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Brand new. They made it. They're available.
Just like the old one?
Just like the old one. So stuck it on the back. Yeah. It's the exact jersey that I would have gotten suspended from school for wearing. Nice. And Pro Sphere, if I'm one of the Attitude Era people that want to relive that, they got it.
Hey, you'd think they would send me these things.
Yeah.
Like
you could
to
represent
wear
them.
it?
Right.
Yeah.
Put that nice Gucci jacket on
over top of
a
it?
DX69 jersey. Yeah. That's X-Pac to a T. If you're ready to stand out from the crowd, then suit up with Pro Sphere's lineup of premium jersey-inspired styles, graphic tees, hoodies, and more, with options for adults and youth. Every member of the family can find the perfect look to show off their fandom. With new superstars, new events, and new designs arriving year-round, there's always a new way to represent the WWE Universe. Pro Sphere on Fanatics is gear built for every member of the WWE Universe. We were just talking about the fact that Nick Aldis got reinstated as GM. While SummerSlam was happening, I ran back here and got the opportunity to sit down and talk to Nick Aldis immediately after his match with Gunther, just to see what was on his mind. And we want to share that with you right now. Gunther, right after his match. Nick Aldis, right after his match.
Boy, he must have been spent.
With Gunther. I could not be happier right now as I am joined, fresh off of his return to the wrestling ring. Nick Aldis, man, how do you feel?
So tired.
I can only imagine.
Oh my God, I was so blown
Were you?
Yeah. You know, like everyone talks about this, and it's like, oh, there's nothing nothing replicates like working in the ring, and it's like, yeah, and it really is true. Like I've been doing the most intense, hard like conditioning workouts for the last couple of weeks, like to try to get, and like genuinely never ever trained that hard my whole life, and you know, still just like 4 minutes in, I'm just, oh my God.
It's funny. I was literally, I think today on Sirius, I think it might have been Cardona. He pointed out, you know, I mean, I can't wait to see this. There's a difference between
He's gonna be blown.
in-ring conditioning and cardio conditioning.
That's what that's the first thing I told Ed Koskey.
Yeah.
When I first found out about this, where I was like, look, to find out quite out of the blue, like you can have a match with one of the top guys in the world, right? The top guy in the company, SummerSlam in a stadium, like amazing, right? But then, like when he told me that was in Saudi Arabia, and I went, when is SummerSlam? Say August 1st, right? Today's June the 30th or June the 29th, and I was like, that's a month, you know. And I go, Ed, like, there's a big difference between like physique shape and like ring shape. And I go, I am not in ring shape. Like, well, you have an awful lot of faith in me to, you know, because obviously, like, without having too many conversations, I had a pretty good idea of like what it was going to be.
Sure.
You know, and I was like, yeah, that's great and everything, but it's like, I talked about this on Chris Van Vliet this week, where I said, like, I think the most sort of surprising part of all this was how casual, like, Triple H and, you know, upper management seemed to be about this. And I was sort of like, no one's kind of gone, are you ready? Like, can you do this? Like, you know, like, are you good with this? Like, everyone's just kind of, you know, match with Gunther. Like, I haven't worked in 3 years. Like, what are you doing?
And of all people with Gunther.
Right.
It's like the one guy you don't want to get exhausted in there with.
Right. A huge, like, killer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
So were you surprised? Like, were you kind of did the reality sink in that I will probably fairly quickly lose oxygen?
Yeah.
Or 4 minutes in were you like, oh my God, this is so much worse than I thought?
I think I blew up in my entrance.
Well, I mean, it was Oasis, to be fair.
Right. Like, again, absolute, like, I don't want to get too, you know, soppy about this. I already did that on Chris Van Vliet, and like, you know, never done that before. But Morning Glory was like, I would always listen to that song, and I would always like visualize, like, God, this would be a killer entrance song, you know, like, and you think, like, I mean, I was talking about when I was a kid, right? Like, when I was like, I don't know, like, God, walking out, and then, like, right as that bit kicks in, you know, and you just, and then as you sort of progress in the business, you know, and you start to sort of figure out how things work, I sort of put it to the back of my mind, like, oh, it's not likely, that's not going to happen. And then Hunter texted me a couple of weeks ago and said, perfect world, if you could have any music, if you could license any music for you, if you could, any song, like, nothing is off the table, just like, what would you have? And I just was like, and I kind of went through my sort of mental, you know, and I went, Morning Glory, you know. So I just, and he had mentioned something about like maybe something British, you know, a British band, like something like that. And I kind of, and I suddenly went, like Morning Glory. And I was like, well, I thought it won't happen, but I've got to ask. I've got to at least.
He said perfect world.
Yeah, exactly. And I literally, I text back, ideal world, right? No restrictions, like it'd be Morning Glory by Oasis. In my mind, I'm thinking, but okay, it probably won't happen. I sent a few others, like some other ideas, like Muse and like Sabian, you know, a few other things. Thinking like, well, they might be a bit more manageable.
Sure.
And And like,
Yeah.
and didn't hear anything more about it. And I just kind of thought, it's all right, you know, whatever. Yesterday at SmackDown, kayfabe, but we got Morning Glory, and I was like, whoa, like what? Like sitting in the production meeting, like they're getting ready to, like, you know, the production meeting environment, everyone's like very like, you know, prim and proper, and you know, all right, let's go through to SmackDown, and I'm sitting there like,
Yeah, I mean, what has this month been like? To go from like, you know, you got a job here, you're the on-screen general manager, you're a producer off-screen, that's the gig, and it's and you're good at it, and you like your gig, and that's what you do. And then, I mean, I've got to believe this whirlwind starts, where you're like, first you find out you're going to have a match, then you find out how invested the company is in this match because of the amount of segments, the fact that, like, you know, you're in that main event spot on Saturday Night's Main Event to kind of show the world
thing at the Garden,
and to gauge that interest, and then you get the theme song and everything. I mean, have your feet touched the ground?
they're just sort of doing that now. I think. Like
over the last month.
Yeah, like I think I did get a bit overwhelmed early on because I was a couple of times. Like I think it was probably about a week after I found out, like the next time we were at SmackDown, and it was sort of, now obviously people are starting, some people know that we're doing it, some people don't, and so then I've sort of got, you know, Michael Hayes and people like that kind of going like, hey, you just do whatever you need to do to get ready, and you know, and you know. And but because most people still didn't know, I was sort of keeping it under wraps, and like, but then I remember going back to the hotel and just going like, what are you doing? Like, can I even do this? Like what? Like, it's 3 weeks, you know. So sort of thinking of myself in Gorilla and thinking, oh God, I get quite, you know, I get nervous, like just going out to do GM stuff. You know, well, of course, right? I mean, anybody, adrenaline and everything.
Yeah, sure.
And then I was saying, wait a minute, like I'm going to be in my gear and I have to go and have a match, you know, like
big match.
Like, well, like I haven't done that like in 3 years. Like, whoa, you know, just.
And then there's the other, I'm sure, wrestler thing, which is, I don't even believe it's going to happen until it happens. Did that ever occur to you? Or once the thing was said, it was like, oh my God.
I wasn't concerned. Well, you know what's funny? When it was first, like I said, it first found out in Saudi, and Ed did sort of go, well, you know, card subject to change. And I kind of went, I'm like, Ed, I'm going to have to just work on the basis that it's happening. Because like I have to go and get ready. So I said, I'll tell you what, like I'll just work on the basis that it is happening, and just and then if it isn't, at least I'll be in better shape.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, worst case scenario.
Right. At least I'll have better cardio. All right, you know. But yeah, I think that's just a sort of default thing that I pretty much have to do when they tell talent, like, you know, card subject to change.
When did you go and get new gear made?
Rick Michaels does my gear. He's done my gear for years and years. So he once he sort of saw what was happening, he texted me and was like, oh, are we doing some new gear? I was like, yeah, of course, yeah, let's do it. You know, I mean, it's the same design, just new, fresh stuff.
Yeah. I mean,
but it's me, right? It is Nick Aldis from, you know,
it's the same Nick Aldis. I mean, that's the story of this happening over the course of 30 days is insane to me, because I remember, you know, a few years ago, you came over to my basement.
Yep.
To talk about, you know, the fact that you were moving on from one company, and to really have a conversation about where you want to go
right
in the business.
And I think then you pointed out then, you were like, I wouldn't mind seeing a Gunther against Nick Aldis match.
Is that right?
I think
it's so funny. I
think he was NXT champion at that time.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
and I think we were discussing like,
how great would it be?
What if he showed up at NXT? And I was like, that's some great guy. And you were like, oh, I could see you working with Gunther.
Do you listen to Not Saying Wrestling? Is that what's going on? Is that what we're saying? But I mean, I find it so amazing because part of that conversation we had it off the air too is like, you know, when you're talking about the things that you would like to do,
Yeah.
that's a delicate thing, right? You know, and I think it's really remarkable that like you come to the WWE, you have this incredible other life, this other part of your career, and I would think I speak for a lot of fans and I'm sure you hear it all the time. People are very fond of you in the general manager role.
Yeah.
You know, you do a great job at that. But the idea that this thing that's always been a goal, which is to wrestle on a high level for the WWE,
Right.
when you're not sort of campaigning for it,
Yeah.
when you're not bringing it up to people, you know, I could still go, I could still go.
I
When you're
never,
just like,
never, ever once did that, and I sort of take quite a lot of pride in that. Like I never, ever lobbied, never went to Hunter or Bruce or Michael and said, "You could put me in an angle with it." And trust me, there were many times where and this is not to throw shade at anyone, but you know, there were many times where I would see certain talent, you know, and sort of go, how do you, like, I could have nailed that, you know, like what are you doing, you know, like have some intensity, you know, or something, right? Like, you
I know what went wrong there.
like
I could have done
you
that
know,
better.
And I said, you know, I'm my own biggest critic. So as far as the match goes, I'm just going to have to sort of take people's word for it. And look, standing ovation from a stadium, you know, at the end, and like my family being there and everything, like, you know, that's you can't manufacture that. Like, so to a certain extent, I obviously did something right. Having said that, you know, for my own, I think every wrestler does this. You compare your performance to like your peak, like best performance. Like for me, that probably would have been like the 2 out of 3 falls match with Cody or something like that. Sure. Like, if, you know, and so in my, you know, that like then I didn't blow up. I was just like on my, just, you know, everything was crisp and tight, and like, but timing was perfect. I was, you know, but I was working all the time and all that kind of thing. So I'm sort of comparing everything to that. So, to, you know, this match, I think, oh God, I felt like I was in quicksand, and I was, like, so, you know, oh God, I was like so tired, and oh, that was, I should bonked my head on the ring post, all these things. But, you know, overall, yeah, like to sort of to get that sort of moment, you know, that sort of. Oh wow! Like I really like manifested something in that. That was a moment that the entrance and all that, it was like something I manifested from, you know, for like 20 years, probably, maybe more.
Yeah,
it's kind of wild.
It's amazing, dude. It's amazing. What was it like today for you to put your gear on and to warm up and to get ready the way, you know, the boys, quote unquote, get ready?
I've had a camera follow me around all day, and so I've been sort of articulating my thoughts on some of that. And I said this earlier. I wasn't really sure how that was going to go, but actually, once I sort of got here and went, everything, my sort of normal routine sort of kicked back in, like. What was weirder was packing my gear again and stuff like that, because I was sort of like, well, what do I need? Right? Like, because that sort of thing used to you have a sort of, okay, right, boots, ankle braces, knee wraps, pads, tights. Like you went, you know,
walking around like you're on the Indies going, you guys got any tape? Can I borrow some tape?
yeah. Like tape, baby oil, you know.
Yeah.
That's the best at WWE. They have all that stuff. So
Perfect.
Towel.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I forgot a towel from the hotel. Like, you know. Like, oh, they've got a stack of them, and they're so spoiled.
Yeah. That's true, but now you get to use
rolls and rolls of tape.
Yeah, but you've never
so much oil.
You've been but you've been a GM so long. GMs don't need oil and tape.
I know.
For you to go in and be like, can I also?
I need some, yeah.
Do I get to use these?
Right.
I can use this.
Yeah, I've seen this stuff lying around. Yeah, I can have some. Yeah. I need it. I need it for yeah.
I mean, man, and by the way, all the guy following you around is part of a vlog that the digital team is doing, which I can't wait to see because they've been doing amazing stuff this weekend.
I felt like I wasn't necessarily giving the most compelling content maybe during some parts of the day, because I'm just like at some point I was just sort of like I gotta concentrate. I don't know what to say, just like
Luckily, they're magicians. They're going to make it look
right.
amazing.
But to your point, to your earlier question, it did. I'll tell you what big boost to my confidence was the reaction to last night at SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really strong reaction. And then as soon as I came out of the ring, I just sort of showered, got in the car, and started driving to Minneapolis from Green Bay, and I didn't sleep particularly well, more just from a sort of adrenaline and stuff, but like, got okay. But then today I was just sort of dialed in, and, I was like, right, time to go to work. Like, no more overthinking anything, just,
right.
Just get to it. Right. Like,
I mean, I think too, the thing about it is that you can be, I'm sure, far overcritical about yourself and thinking about the cardio or feeling like you're in quicksand or whatever it is. But with wrestling, from a fan perspective, it's the story. It's the only thing that matters is the story. And I think that it makes me happy for you, is how much people have just clung on to this story. And I told you, I think when I saw you around Fanatics Fest, that the reaction that you got at Saturday night's main event, to me,
that was big.
It was not the easiest position in the world. It was a make or break position.
Sure.
Because you are interrupting this match that people are invested in. And there were people going, you know what? It should be a 4-way. That would be the better finish. Mm-hmm. And you've got to be, it's like, okay, here I am. Do you want to see me in this match or not? New York.
Right.
New York, you have to tell the world.
How much do you care about
yes.
me getting a receipt on Gunther? Right.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
for
they
sure.
cared a lot. And then to your point, both last week and this week on SmackDown, they cared a lot. And then in that, I mean, dude, the entrance, from the time you walked out on that stage tonight, everybody was like, we're getting it. You got the standing ovation afterwards with your family. I mean, we were all on board with this story. And I think it says a lot about you, because I would imagine that most of the people in this stadium did not follow the NWA.
Right.
We're not watching TNA when you were there.
Right.
A lot of fans have not been watching for a
or
decade.
if they know it's more a sort of passing knowledge, just
or maybe they saw the package
they've
on
seen a
SmackDown
clip or
they
they sort of know, but they didn't really actually, they weren't there.
Right. But they were completely on board with the story. And it was a good guy versus a bad guy, and everybody wanted to see this moment for you, and I think it's a very rare thing in wrestling.
It is. It's rare in 2026, especially because it's like a lot of shades of gray, and everyone's probably a little bit overexposed with social media and all the auxiliary, ancillary content and all that kind of thing. Just that it's a little bit hard to create a sort of mystique and a demand and a curiosity. And we were able to get all that. And that's obviously it. Like I say, you have to sort of, I always say in wrestling, you have to play the hand you get dealt. I think I'm a testament to that, certainly. And you have to sort of look at the pros and cons that come with all the different opportunities that come your way. And well, yes, okay. Oh, it was maybe a little disappointing at times, or frustrating that I get to be this, but I don't get to be that, but because I was this for this amount of time, it built this curiosity and it built this intrigue and this kind of, and so then now I do get to be that, and it's special.
And it creates a moment that is so unique to you.
Yeah.
That's your moment. And that's not one of the Nick Aldis moment is the
and it
Nick
was me,
Aldis
right?
moment.
It was me. It was my name. Yeah. Mickey told me, and I think she tweeted about this too, that last night in Green Bay when they were chanting "Let's go Aldis," my son, he's grown up around wrestling. He's been around wrestling his whole life, so to him it's just sort of like mum and dad's work. But he sort of went, he goes, "Mum, they're chanting for our family," and she was kind of like, "Oh yeah, you're right,"
Yeah, because it is
kind of, yeah,
it's your
right,
name.
right, yeah, right. And it's for him, it is surreal for him to hear a whole arena chanting that's my name.
That's my name.
Right.
Man, well, I can't say congratulations enough. I think it is so cool to know that we went from my basement with you trying to figure out how are we going to figure out what's
next, yeah.
to sitting here in a WWE locker room in a stadium with you in your gear after a standing ovation from tens and tens of thousands of people that were all on board for this journey. Is this a one and done in the ring, or are we?
I don't know. I've said from I came in with no expectations. I come out with none. So
We don't know.
you know, if it's there, it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You think you have more in you?
sure. In the right circumstances, yeah.
I love it. Nick, man,
Thanks,
congratulations and thank you so much.
Thank you.
So close you can almost taste it.
What? You're just gonna walk away? Time to bring the juice.
Never leave a fit behind. Rip it, and bring the juice.
That flavor's just out of reach.
Drop the leg, Oos, and bring the juice. Yeah.
Huge thanks to Nick Aldis for stopping into the Now studio immediately following his match with Gunther. You know, SummerSlam brings the biggest party of the summer to WWE Slam with an action-packed release celebrating one of WWE's most iconic premium events, inspired by the bright lights, unforgettable moments, and larger-than-life superstars who have defined SummerSlam throughout the years. This box features an incredible lineup of cards, including Golden Hour signatures, Summer Blockbuster dual signatures, Scorched, and, of course, Big Kahuna. That's my favorite. Experience the excitement of SummerSlam and start collecting these incredible cards now in Topps WWE Slam. I mean, X-Pac, for you who has, done everything there is to do as far as being a competitor in the ring, to see after 3 years, Nick Aldis not only return to the wrestling ring, but to wrestle a high-profile match in the WWE,
Yeah.
which is something that he dreamed of and something that he never got to do. How did you feel watching him?
I've been a big Nick Aldis supporter, like since he was trying to come here,
Right.
and just to see him finally get to step in the ring in front of people here,
Yeah.
if you're in this industry and you're a pro wrestler and you've never stepped in a WWE ring in front of people and in a match,
Yeah.
man, it's just something else, and for him to be able to say, yeah, I had a big pay-per-view moment, PLE moment.
That's right, PLE.
Yeah.
PLE.
And I came out and I looked amazing, and
Yeah.
he
And
was
people
in
were
shape.
invested in his story.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He's a good guy who got cheered. And that's not, you can't take that for granted in this day and age. But people loved him. And they gave him a standing ovation at the end of the thing. It was really
Yeah, they were in on it. The people were going on that, and they're not. If they don't like it, they're not going to cheer it.
right. Right,
That's the
exactly
bottom
right.
line, man.
Exactly
you can't
right.
make people. It's not like it used to be.
No, that's right. That's right. Yeah. It can't be dictated. You can't
No.
just announce, "Hey, he's a good guy now."
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I also think this was big for Gunther in the sense that he's got this opportunity to break hearts again. I think Gunther's at his best when he's breaking people's hearts. That's what makes him that absolute
The heartbreaker.
super villain.
Gunther, the heartbreaker.
The heartbreaker, just the absolute, it would be fun to see Nick Aldis win. Oh, that would be fun. Luckily, I'm here. I'm not going to let it happen.
Yeah.
And I think that, to the point, of good guy, bad guy, Gunther, in this day and age, being a bad guy that you believe is a bad guy is remarkable. It's really great. So
You don't see it much.
you don't.
As a matter of
It's
fact,
difficult to do.
he might be the only one right now.
I would agree with that. I would
Yeah.
agree. The fans are more educated than ever. There's been more wrestling than ever, and it's harder than it ever has been with social media and the desire to be liked and just everything.
Sure. Yeah, and
Gunther
you just
pulls it
want to
off.
get over and be
Yeah.
over, and it's hard. It's hard to do that these days,
Absolutely.
especially as that type of heel.
Yes, yes. I'll tell you, I'll tell you, you talk about getting over. It has been an incredible time for, I think, Solo Sikoa. Watching the rise of that guy has been so fun. And when the wonderful folks here at WWE Now reached out to me and said, who do we want to try to grab, after their matches, I said, I would love to talk to Solo Sikoa. And we got him immediately after that 6-man tag. Solo sat down with us to talk about the match, but also kind of the whole career. It was a great conversation.
And just like there's a different side of him coming out.
Yes,
his
absolutely.
Personality and something that I didn't see before. I didn't see in him before.
Right. Yeah, there's a range as a performer that's coming out. And we touched
It's really
on
good to see it, man.
I
love his whole family. They've always been very good to me. So
they have.
Whenever, I was like the original
honoraries.
Yes. Yeah.
I'll talk to you about that. Well, let's throw the Solo, and then I want to talk to you about that.
Okay.
Fresh off of a victory in a 6-man tag, Solo Dolo.
That's right.
Sikoa.
That's right.
Welcome to the SummerSlam recap. Fresh out of the arenas. Fresh out of the no. I'm sorry, not arena, stadium.
That's right.
How do you feel?
I feel great.
You do feel great.
I feel great. I get to beat my older brothers up.
Yeah.
For all the times they broke my wrestlers, you know what I'm saying? I got my get back.
That's it.
You've
been waiting for your entire life for that moment.
33 years.
Wow.
That's a long time.
That's a long time
It's
to
a
wait.
very long time.
That's a long time to wait.
Yes.
And that's why it felt so good.
It felt great.
Okay, so let me ask you this. I've noticed that there's this side in you. I've talked about, your range. Maybe that's the wrong way to phrase it, but the fact that we've seen so many different sides of Solo Sikoa in a relatively short period of time. I feel like people don't even really remember that when we first got to know you, you were the strong silent type. You didn't say a word.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, you started opening your mouth and started getting entertaining and started getting, just manipulating people.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, that manipulation gene that exists
turned
within
into
your
fun.
bloodline, it was strong within you.
Yeah.
And I feel like just now, and you were doing it the whole time you were with the MFTs. You even started seeing it popping up in Bloodline 2.0. But I feel like just now is the moment that fans, and I mean within the last 2 weeks, have started to go, ooh, Solo might be my guy. Have you felt that?
I did, man. It's been a long journey, from coming from the silent assassin, from not talking for 2 years to transforming over to playing the tribal chief character, right? You got to see a little bit of personality, and then, being the leader in the MFTs, you starting to see a little bit more, and then, I got to be myself 2 weeks ago. But, a lot of people a lot of the fans don't understand. When you're going from not talking for 2 years, you're sitting under the learning tree from one of the greats, Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman, and, I would sit there and I would study, like, how he would, talk and cut the promos. So a lot of people think that I'm just not talking, but I was actually learning over those 2 years. So I knew when it became my time to shine, man, it's like I've been doing it for years.
Because every lesson that's being taught or every conversation that's being had, you're in the room, you're hearing it, you're taking it in.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's big, man.
Yeah.
That's scary in a way, in a good way, because it's like you're sitting under, one of the greats, man, and I'm learning.
And do you have those moments where it's like, it's one thing to learn, right? It's one thing to like realize like, oh, I understand what's being said there and I understand what's being said there. But I think it's another thing to execute and to do it and to feel that's what it was. Mm-hmm. That's what they were talking about.
To feel natural, man. Like that's hard to come across. I didn't talk for 2 years.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to talk. But then, after WrestleMania 40, they give me all right, now you're going to cut a promo. I'm nervous, man. But, I knew, all the training and sitting by Roman and Paul Heyman, man, I was like, man, I got this. This is my time to shine. And
I think that's the other thing, too, right, is that, and that's maybe why it's taking fans kind of a whole process to re-get to know Solo, because we all knew and accepted this one way. This is the guy that put 12 Samoan spikes in John Cena's neck. This is the guy who came.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, you did that too.
John, if you're out there, I like to settle the beef. I'm good now. I'm a good guy now. Give me a call. Let's hang out.
But I mean, Man, I don't know that I've ever seen. I mean, I guess it's happened before. It's rare that there's like one singular thing that happens that kind of shifts everything. Like one singular, you can zero in and go, that's it. And I mean, it was literally last week when
2 weeks ago, man.
When you
Yeah.
show up and you just say pew pew,
Wow.
everybody goes, wait,
Yeah.
what is this? And you have to, and I mean, also, and I'm sure you felt this when after WrestleMania 40, but it stands more true now than ever that when that bloodline is coming back together and it's going back to being the force that is, I mean, the nucleus of this entire company, when it's your role to stand outside of it
Yeah.
and to command that attention on your own, that's a very difficult
It
thing
is,
to
man.
do, especially to do it in a unique
Yeah.
way.
In a natural way, too.
Natural
I
way.
was just like, man, you know what? I get to pick on my brothers. I get to make fun of them. Who gets to do that?
Right.
On the biggest stage of them all.
Right.
And on TV in front of millions and millions of people. I was like, you know what? I'm going to make fun of them. And it was just, man, I just felt it in the moment, and then boom, it took off. Pew, pew, bow. It became a thing.
Yeah, it did.
All day today in my meeting we had the photo ops and the taking pictures, man, and signing autographs. All I kept hearing was pew, pew, pew. It kept getting a little bit overwhelming because they were overdoing it. You know?
Yeah.
I said, every once in a while,
Yeah, every 10 or 20 people maybe.
yeah, man. So, man, I'm just like you said before, there's a lot of layers in the character.
Yes.
Could you imagine if I was to do this when I first started? It probably wouldn't have worked.
No.
It's like when you go to eat dinner, right? You don't order the dessert first, right? You got to get your drinks, your appetizer, then you get the entree, then you get the dessert. Now, you know, I'm giving the fans the dessert, another layer that they've never seen before.
I
And
agree.
I'm just getting started, man.
And I also think that, like, as fans accept this, then you start having the option of being like, maybe one day we will remind them that I got this other side.
Yeah.
Like maybe one day that more aggressive, meaner, oh no, I'm taking it all. The song says it.
Exactly.
Maybe that guy's gonna come back too. Like it all becomes, I feel like, tools in the toolbox.
There you go.
Yeah.
And in my toolbox, I got a lot of tools, man.
Yeah.
I can jack of all trades. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
You know, little by little, showing them that different side of solo.
Mm-hmm.
Solo dolo became a thing. I'm just saying stuff off of my head, man. I'm like, you know, as it goes.
When do you get comfortable enough to go like, no? I mean, I'm sure those conversations that you sat under the learning tree for helped. But when you get that confidence to go, I can trust my instincts out here. I know what I'm doing. I can trust in myself to go like, yeah, if I think it's a good idea, it's worth trying.
If I think it's funny, like if I'm making my brothers laugh and my cousins,
Yeah.
I was like, if they're laughing, I know they're gonna laugh. Like I know the fans are gonna be entertained.
Right.
And like, I think and man, so far it's been working.
I mean, it's also like this thing, right, where you are on this team opposing the bloodline. LA Knight is on that team.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
There are very few superstars that are more popular than LA Knight. So for you to be able to build momentum next to somebody that's already got that kind of reaction
Yeah.
is massive. How did you make the decision to go, no. Solo is going to go forward just embracing LA Knight. LA Knight's going to look at Solo crooked, and Solo's going to sit there and go, LA, and become the biggest LA Knight fan
Yeah, man.
in the building.
It's you know, you gotta, everybody has to remember, he was against the bloodline for a while.
Yeah.
I was a part of that group. We didn't like each other, you know, back then. Again, back then I didn't know, you know, I was brainwashed, you know, I got caught up. But as I start to realize, like, man, what the bigger picture is, we can get on the same team here. You know? We might not like each other, but there's one thing that we do not like is the bloodline. So, and I think tonight we came together as a team.
Absolutely. And I love my favorite moment. I was standing out there on the stadium floor and hearing the reaction when you got him to give you that hug.
Yeah. I thought he was gonna walk by me.
Yeah.
I almost the old Solo almost came out. Let me put this down. Let me put this down.
Yeah.
You know, we won the match. I'm not gonna spike you behind your back, but you know, he ended up. You know, I think that's what brought us apart was the win.
That's right.
Finally gave me a hug, man. After all these years,
You've been waiting for one.
I've been waiting for it.
You've been waiting for that
I've
hug.
been waiting for it, man.
I get you. And also, you can't be disrespected. The fun that you're having can't be mistaken for weakness.
Exactly.
You can't have people disrespecting you. You can't have people walking right by you. You don't,
man.
but you don't want them to bring the old solo. You like
No,
this solo.
I
You
like
said
this
it.
one. Yeah,
I like where I'm
in
at.
Exactly. Yeah, everybody here in Minneapolis loves where Solo's at, baby. Like, I'm not going back. I don't want to go back.
When did you start realizing that like something you want to do is wear velvet suits? Not that many people pull off a velvet suit, especially with a turtleneck. And
There you go. Not many people can wear it, especially with a 275-pound Samoan guy with blonde hair. Come on,
work
man.
for a lot of people.
Velvet?
No,
Can't
no, but
nobody
you
do it
said-
like Solo.
That's right. That's right. Did you wear the velvet and then decide I need to add the leather gloves, or was it always one?
Yeah,
pack?
man. I was just like, man, something's missing.
Yeah.
Something I need, right? I gotta feel like a mob boss. Something's missing. What do they do? What do they wear? What do hitmans wear when they get their hands dirty? They wear gloves, so the evidence doesn't show.
Right. No
you know,
prints.
and
no
then the
nothing.
jewelry came, and then the swagger, the confidence came, and man, that's how that character became a part.
How do you get through those years, I guess, but the year or so in the beginning when it's like you're tasked with restructuring the bloodline?
Yeah.
Immediately after this has been the most successful faction, I would argue, in the history of the company. And it's like, okay, now you got to do a new one.
Yeah.
And a lot of fans are going like, it's not the bloodline. I don't know why they're doing this. This isn't the bloodline.
Yeah.
Like, how do you kind of weather that storm?
Man, I think when I took control of the bloodline, I think, when I was playing this character, when Roman went away, I think I had to step in, right, to take charge when the group wasn't given to me, right? I took the Ulafala, I took the wise man. And I think, like, in the movies where, say, like, the king dies, and it gets passed down to the, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But nobody likes the prince. But, like, I felt like when I was playing that role as the tribal chief, as one of the biggest heels, on SmackDown, and, carried SmackDown when Roman was gone, I feel like nobody could have done that better to set up his return. I felt like I played the role the best I could, and we set up his return. And it was great. I felt like I did a good job at the tribal chief character.
Is it difficult for you? Because I agree, and I hope that I've been singing the praises of Solo and the Bloodline forever.
Yeah.
But I also think that it takes a level of patience.
Does.
And when you're performing in a medium where the feedback is instant.
Yeah.
We want it now. Wrestling fans, we want it now. We want it. What are we doing right now? We want this now.
They're impatient, man.
Right.
You
They
gotta
don't
be
realize
patient.
the long
Yeah.
play that's
The end game, right?
Right.
If I can't give them this, I can't give them that, and that, then they're gonna be tired of it. You got to build up to those big moments, man.
right.
Like what happened 2 weeks ago. Like that's, now everybody's happy.
Yeah.
And they wanted that like way before, but I'm like, no, if you got that Solo way before, it wouldn't have worked.
And do you feel like that's something that you picked up from like Roman and Paul Heyman?
Yeah,
where
man,
it's,
just patience and like,
Yeah.
man, the end game. Always think about the end game.
Mm-hmm.
What's the bigger picture?
Mhm.
The bigger picture was we all break apart just to come back together.
Yeah.
Right. It'll be bigger at the end.
Yeah.
And it's been a hell of a ride, man. Just I'm very thankful for where I'm at.
It's a cool thing, man. And it's a cool thing to not only think about the bloodline like from the beginning in that group and where it's gone, but everybody involved as individuals and the journey that every individual. I mean, we could do a show about the bloodline, but we could just as easily do separate shows about every single member
Yeah.
and the evolution that character has gone on
Yeah.
throughout because of the way this story has been told and is still here we
told,
are
still
5,
being
6
told.
years later still being told.
Yeah, you know what's funny, man? Everybody talks about like, when the bloodline thought it ended, right? Then we go away, and then it's like, then when we bring back the bloodline, like when we come back, everybody still complains.
You're
You
right.
know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like they're happy, we're left, but then they always complain. But like, man, this is the greatest story ever told, man. Like God, there's so much more to this group. Not even a group, we're a family. And that's what's the fun part about it. Like we get to do this on the biggest stage of them all, man. Like my brothers and my cousin, we might not see eye to eye, lately, but when I'm in the ring with them, man, we always create magic.
But that's what also, to me, makes this thing such a special, and different story, is that just as much as it's a story, it's real life as well. And it goes back
Yeah.
to the Wild Samoans, and it goes back to Umaga and Yokozuna and all, and to see it really is ultimately this story of a family that has always been here, finally
Still
taking
here.
what's theirs, and
Yep.
still here, and
We
now
ain't never gonna
going,
leave. We
right,
ain't never leaving.
right.
We're gonna be here forever. And I
Right.
believe that our kids, man, our kids, it's in our blood to do this. Man, it's cool. I get goosebumps, man. It's cool. I wish I could wrestle forever, man, but when that time comes, hopefully the younger generation beneath us, man, they can step up and fulfill our shoes. You know, they'll always have a path here. But, you know, I think, you know, for Roman, man, he set that standard in our family. You know, they just gotta, you know, they gotta live up to that level.
Do you think at all about like what your mindset was when you first started in NXT, when you were one of the NXT 2.0 people? I mean, you must have been a completely different human. I mean, none of this information, I mean, you grew up in this business, obviously, but what we're talking about here, this like elevated storytelling, you couldn't have known that walking into
man,
2.0.
I thought I knew it all, man, NXT.
You did?
I didn't know nothing.
Wow.
I didn't know nothing, man. You know, at that time when I came into NXT, you know, Bloodline was running red hot. And then they just had got Sammy on their side. So, you know, I was doing my own thing in NXT. And at that time, the character was Solo. Like, he fights on his own. His family left him. His brothers left him.
Right.
He got abandoned. All right, so I was like, man, let me see if I could do something with that. And then, you know, not even a year, man, I was down in NXT. Got the call to come up. I wasn't even down there a whole year. And I debuted in front of 70,000 people at Clash of the Castle in you know, hometown where Drew McIntyre was. You believe that?
Man, just you saying that, it is such a crazy thing. Less than a year in NXT.
Yeah, I debuted in October. I got caught up in August.
Then
I was hurt. I got hurt in June.
Right,
So I
of
took
course.
whole July off. Right, I took the whole July off, and I just remember they kept saying August 3rd, August 2nd. We got to get you ready. I'm like, man, what the hell is August 2nd?
Yeah.
There's no pay-per-view on August 2nd. Then the week of, I got cleared. I got cleared on Tuesday. I hopped on the jet with Roman. I flew out there, and the rest was history, man.
I mean, you think about it, right? Less than a year in NXT. You go to the main roster. You're in the main event. Immediately, in the most important storyline on the show, in the role of the enforcer, and that role isn't there yet. Like, you become an essential part of that story. You go top of the card story the entire time. As soon as it ends, it's like, okay, now it's on you to do it.
Let's give it to Solo.
Like, it's been
a ride.
You've had 7 months in NXT, and then everything after that has been like, do it
to
Solo.
the top, man. Like when you say that, when you say it out loud, 7-8 months in NXT in developmental, and then on the main roster straight to the top in the top spot. Like, hello guys, that's not easy to do. But I knew I was in the right place at the right time because I had my family to guide me.
That's amazing, man. I do want to tell you, it's time for a new segment.
Let's do it.
You ready for a new segment?
Yeah.
We call it the finishing move. And it's
Okay.
presented by Minute Maid.
Bow.
Bow. Pew, pew, pew.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
Pew,
right.
pew, pew.
Okay. Solo, if you could hit your finishing move, that Samoan spike, on one thing in real life, not a person, a situation, if you could take that Samoan spike and finish a situation like an overactive group text or something like that, what would be the situation that would eat that spike?
Ooh, that's a hard
I
question.
know.
If I could use the spike in the situation, probably bills.
Bills.
Yep.
Yes.
Nobody, you know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Mortgage.
Bills, bow. Yeah, phone bill, bow.
Oh, sorry, Con Ed.
Yeah, electricity's
Bow.
too high. Okay, bow.
That's a great answer.
Yeah,
I think we
right?
can all
Nobody
relate
wants
to
to pay
that.
bills, right?
That's right.
But
That's
we have
right.
to.
So shout out to Minute Maid for bringing that energy, because sometimes all you need is something bold, refreshing, and unapologetically you to get through the day. That's how you bring the juice. And I got to tell you, bold, refreshing, and unapologetically you.
That's me.
That sounds like Solo Dolo Sikoa. If
Man,
you
that's
ask
right.
me.
Say that one more time. That's right, Sam.
That sounds like Solo Dolo Sikoa.
That's right. And it only takes a minute to say it.
That's fantastic.
Come on, guys.
That is
Sponsor me.
that is.
Sponsor me, guys.
I don't see how they could say no. I have. We're wrapping up here, but I have said about you the thing that is great about Solo Dolo Sikoa is you watch the show, and you're like, I recognize that that's a guy that would try to sell me a used car, and I recognize that I wouldn't buy. I shouldn't buy that car from that man. But you know what?
That's funny.
But you know what?
You gonna buy it?
I'd buy that car.
I know you're gonna buy
I'd
it
buy
because
that car.
I'm good at talking, baby. That's just what I do.
Look at you.
Yeah, I can sell you that car too. I'll sell you everything in it. Yeah, my man right here, you got the 22-inch rims. You know what I'm saying? They look like 10s, but they 22s. You know, go ahead. Yeah.
Honey, I need the rims.
Yeah, I got you. Bow.
Solo, thank you so much, man, and congratulations on tonight.
Man, thank you for having me. Sorry, this is my first time doing an interview, man. It's an honor to be on here, man.
Come on,
so
man.
thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure, man.
Yeah,
Thank
can
you.
I close it out with one more thing?
Yeah.
Pew pew.
Wow.
Let's go.
Go. Man, that was great. Solo Sikoa in here, and I mean, I loved hearing him talk about not only what's going on now, but the realization that it hasn't been an easy road for him. But before we were playing that interview, you were saying that you felt like even before Sami Zayn that you were an honorary Uce.
Probably.
I think
yeah.
so. How so?
Yeah, head shrinkers versus Big Daddy Cool Diesel and Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels was.
And you knew those guys.
I did.
Diesel and Shawn. Yeah,
I
you
did,
knew those
and
guys,
so
yeah.
that was the tag team on Around the Horn at that time.
Was that around the time that and they won the
They were the
titles
tag
from them
champs.
at like a house show?
Yeah, no,
yeah.
Kevin and Shawn were the tag champs.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
Samu didn't make the show. And I already just so happened to have some beads and a lava of my own.
No.
Yeah. So I put on the lava, 1, 2, 3 kid at the time, and the beads, and I came out and I got down on my knees like Jimmy Snuka and did the.
That's awesome.
Like,
Did they go nuts for it?
People enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It worked, and you can find it on YouTube, like on some like Buddy's handheld.
Isn't
I
that
think Roy
funny?
Lucier.
Something. Oh,
Yeah,
really?
Roy Lucier has it somewhere.
I love that. Like something like that you did in like 94, 95.
Yeah, it was 94.
That was just like a fun thing to do
Yeah.
that night. It's all
Yeah,
forever.
great match too. Yeah.
Of course you did. Of course you did. I was hoping to. When you said honorary Uce from back in the day, I was hoping it was a head shrinker story.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. And it goes to Solo's point and what we were talking about the fact that that's what makes the Bloodline such a special story is that it's real. And
Yes.
it was like, it goes back to the head shrinkers and Yoko, Umaga after that,
That's right.
the Wild Samoans before that. Like this is a family that has been a part of the WWE since it was a territory. It's a really cool thing. We also saw tonight, speaking of a family that's been a part of the WWE for a long time, the Bellas.
That's right.
Turn on Page.
Hey, it kind of needed to happen.
You think so?
I just feel like the Bellas, they shine more as heels.
I agree, especially in this era.
Yes.
Especially in this era
Yeah.
when it's like, who do all you think that you are?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I totally agree. I got psyched for the Bellas when I saw them turn because I think it could get like that. There's gonna be meat on that bone.
Yes.
You know, and them coming in and like not stepping aside for the newer generation. I want to see that.
Me too, because I remember when I was the newer generation, being hot at those people that wouldn't step aside, and we had
Yeah.
to try to make them go, right?
Yeah.
So I get it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then of course, I think
And also, not to interrupt,
Please.
I've been part of a group of people that maybe was accused of not stepping aside for the younger people too.
Oh, is it? Yeah. Well, look, man, you didn't work that hard to get it taken away from you. You know what I mean? You're gonna hang out as long as the getting's good.
Right.
But at least you know that.
Yeah.
And then to me, I think maybe the match ending that surprised me the most, with all due respect, was Io getting hit with that Oblivion.
I was surprised.
And ending
Yeah.
clean. Liv Morgan beats Io.
Yeah.
And a lot of people going into this were like, Io, like Liv Morgan hasn't defended the title since WrestleMania. Like, we're ready for Io. I was one of those people going, wow, Io could get the championship, and then we could get a ton of great championship matches with Io.
That's right.
But Liv Morgan, ultimate spoiler that she is, comes in and goes, no, I'm not done. I'm not done. And I feel like, I mean, they were chanting, this is awesome, 10 minutes into the show.
Yeah.
I feel
of
like.
course they were if they start the show off with that match with Io Sky.
Yes.
You know?
But I felt like Liv like stepped her game up.
She did.
And was like, you know what? Maybe you've forgotten. I'm Liv Morgan. I can do this. Yeah. It was really, really great. Really, really great. Amazing night. By the way, night 2, tomorrow, we will be here recapping the whole thing. Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, of course, for the World Heavyweight Championship. We've got that giant women's championship ladder match for the interim women's championship. Sami Zayn and Finn Balor, we talked about a little bit earlier. Baron Corbin versus Trick Williams for the United States Championship.
I saw Baron Corbin, excuse me, pulling into the hotel last night. He looked fantastic.
Yeah.
Great shape.
And you know what he said to me? Like, and this is just like him talking to me like off the record. He said, like, talk about not stepping aside.
That's right.
He goes, I'm back for me this time.
Good.
And you love
good
to hear
because he was a team player guy.
Yes.
Like, yeah, man.
He said, he goes, this time I'm back for me.
Do your thing, man.
Yes.
Do your thing, Baron.
Yes. And I hope he does it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Trick, but I hope he does it tomorrow.
Time to be selfish.
Yes. Penta defending against Chad Gable, which that match is going to be, I mean, it's just amazing. And then, of course,
listen to me over here. Ooh, like little one worded, like replies.
That's why we brought you on. I told you he had great insight. And then, of course, Human Money's on a pole.
Oh.
Dominic Mysterio versus Danhausen. Human Money's on a pole. You looking forward to that?
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the little Danhausens too.
They got to come back, right?
Yeah.
We need them. We need mini Danhausens. X-Pac, man, thank you so much for jumping in here and helping us analyze these matches. This is great. I love talking about
I think we did an amazing job.
You do?
Yeah.
Mainly you. Thank you, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit like and comment on YouTube. Listen to us on WWE Radio on Sirius XM. And we will be back tomorrow for a WWE Now recap of SummerSlam Night 2.